All right, what up, y'all? This your boy Pack up with y'all once again. Like, man, welcome to the very first stream that I'm basically doing right here of my new series that I'm basically doing right here called "Let's Have This Conversation," where the whole entirety of this whole entire thing is pretty much basically how it is. Like, basically saying like, let's have this conversation right here because I'm at the, uh basically came up with this concept right here of like because a lot of people are always sitting up here talking about like nobody wants to have a conversation anymore about any of these topics that we talk about it today and things like that where you constantly see it on the internet. Everybody wants to talk, but nobody wants to sit down and actually have a conversation. Nobody wants to actually sit down and listen about things when it comes down to the whole entire situation. And that's where I basically have stepped in right now, and I just want to be that person right there to be like, like let's all right, let's sit down and let's actually have a conversation about this whole entire thing. And right now, it's really like I'm saying, it's more like a series. It's starting out like as a video series, but now I'm at this point right now where it's like at the beginning of every month. I'm going to take like every topic that I basically talked about, that the whole entire thing, and just break it down into like a stream where hopefully, like I say, like if it really gets popular and things like that, people actually come on here, join in the conversation, and we can just actually sit down and talk about the things that I basically talked about in the in the videos that I basically make right there, and see what their opinions are about it. Because like I said, I already know everybody's not going to always agree with me and things like that, and that's cool because that's the thing right there. I feel like in this world where we really have, we really lost our touch on a lot of things, especially that thing about agreeing and disagreeing. Because nowadays, when you look at the whole entire like spectrum and things like that, whether political or like social and all that right there, it's like people feel like a lot of people feel like that like if a person doesn't agree with them, then that person is just a downright horrible evil, or just a you know existential threat. And how they how they do this bullshit now. Agree with me or you're the agree with me or you're the enemy. This us versus them mentality that we basically developed with ourselves. And I know what it feels like to have that mentality. I try my best to stay in the happy medium, but I want to say at least like I'm saying, like like 10 years ago and things like that, I caught myself trying to stay in that thing right there. But as time went by, I slowly started seeing myself move on to a certain side, mainly over I'm saying to the right, because I consider myself Republican, but it's like I don't consider myself like ultra right and things like that, because there are a lot of terrible things on the left and stuff like that. There are a lot of terrible things on the right, and I have no problem pointing them out. And that's where I get into it with a lot of people on, that side right there, as well as many people out is on the left. It's like, I don't agree and I don't fully agree and I don't fully disagree with either side. So when I see something I don't like, I'm not afraid to call it out right there. That's my whole entire biggest thing. And with seeing like I said, the current situation that it is right now, I feel like the only person who really was trying to like do the type of thing that I'm trying to do right now was Charlie Kirk. But unfortunately, like his method basically cost him his life and things like that. And once again, may he rest in peace. It's sad what happened to him and things like that. And that's another conversation, like for the future and all that right there. But I feel like like he was the main person who was on basically on the verge of doing that right there. Whether you agree with him or disagree with him, he wanted to sit down, he wanted to have a conversation with those people right there. And with the mind, but like I said, the hive mind and the sheep basically, like did what the frick they did right there. But I feel like at this point right there, that's what I basically want to do. It's like I want to talk about a lot of these topics right now that we basically have, whether they're political, whether they're social, whether they're like even fun things and stuff like that. Like conversations about movies and all that right there. Like I said, we may not agree, we may agree, we may not agree on things like that. Like I said, once again, that is okay so long as we can sit down and we can have a decent civil conversation about it. Hell, you might enlighten me on some things right there, and I'm like, well, I didn't see it that way. I'm glad. Thank you for pointing that out right there. That's what we need to. That's where we really need to get back in this world right here, and that's what I basically want to do with this whole entire thing. That's the reason why the Old Boy Pet channel after being gone. Well, like I said, not really gone, but after not like uploading on this channel for like almost 5 years and shit. So when I started back with this right here, I saw a lot of people who I've known way from, since I first began 10 years ago. Like, dang, man, like I thought you would disappear. Like, where you going? Like, I've been here. I've always been here. I just been doing other things, But at this point right now, it's like, I don't really get into like the whole political spirit things like that. Not as deep as I did, like a few years ago. Because I don't know, I feel like a lot of things, well, that still happens. I feel like a lot of things have basically happened, and a lot of things are going bad. Stop it. Damn. What is getting on my damn nerve? Every time I get to streaming and things like that, all of a sudden this thing just wants to go off like crazy, and it won't shut the fuck up either. All right, there we go. See it. Silence your ass. But yeah, it's like I feel like I'm saying I've reached the point where it's like, I was getting so burnt out by looking at the whole entire thing, because every time you turned on, every time I logged in to like my accounts and things like that, all I saw was negative, 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 negative. And it's like no matter where I went, man, it was just negative, It was negative, I'm saying, on Facebook. It was negative on X. It was negative on Instagram. It was negative on TikTok, Now I try to play video games and things like that. The negativity has entered the video games. Try to watch a movie, especially like today's movie and things like that. The negativity has entered it, and it's just like it got to a point, man, where it's like nothing I did was considered fun anymore. And I really had to get away from it. I mean, I had to look deep inside, and I had to do a lot of soul searching and a lot of changing around and things like that. And one of my biggest things was like, you know what, man, I'm getting burned out by politics and things like that. I need to take a step back and just like focus on what I need to do to ease my mind more and things and all that right there. And this is like one of the things I basically started doing, but besides gaming. So that's one of the things that I hope to accomplish with this whole entire right here. And like I said, it's basically to like talking about talk about like a lot of topics that we basically talk about nowadays and things like that. And hopefully people can come in, people can feel comfortable, like, coming in with, joining the conversation like that and giving me their take. Now, I do have rules when it comes to this whole entire thing. It's like, you're not just going to come over here. You're just not just going to jump on here and things like that just to call me names or just to shout or, call me big meanie poo poo head and all that stuff right there. He's like saying, I ain't in the mood. I ain't in the mood to even put up with people like that right there. Now, we can sit right here and we can have a decent, civil, adult conversation. But if you want to act like a kid throwing a motherfucking titty tantrum and all that right there, I'm not the person for you. Because I'm not finna sit up there and, put up with a motherfucking, grown ass titty baby. Because I'm too old for that bullshit. We can sit here, we can have a conversation, and we can agree to disagree. If that's what the case is. Or you could basically tell me your side, like your side of things right there, or how you feel about your opinions, and we can basically, go from right there, because your opinion might actually, make some sense compared to mine. Like, you know what? I didn't think about it that way. So now let me look up right there and let me listen to what you got to say. That's what I basically want to do with this whole entire thing. But when it comes to these live streams right here, it's basically to recap everything that I've talked about, that entire month right there. And since I basically started this, last month, I didn't already drop down like 3 episodes into like my vid series and things like that. And that's what we're basically going to recap on. Like, let's basically start with the first one right here. As you see right, all right, let me basically blow this up and see what we're basically talking about. Now, my first one was basically titled, Am I a Fence Sitter? And that's what basically began this whole entire thing. So anyway, here's what it basically is all about. This episode of Let's Have This Conversation, a series where I take today's topics from political to social life and give you a moderate point of view on it. A point of view that's rarely seen nowadays, the intense tribalism mentality that is today's society, which is going to be the subject of our episode today. All right, check it. I get called a fence sitter a lot because of my look on life nowadays. But it wasn't always like this. I was hugely left-wing growing up due to the way I was raised and what I experienced in life early. But as time went by and I reached my 20s, I slowly started shifting right because I started seeing hypocrisy. But when I did that, I got told to know my place by many people claiming to be my friends and my allies when I started questioning things. But as I got on to my early 40s, I started noticing a pattern with them as well. Now, while the right wasn't telling me to know my place, I started noticing the us versus them mentality. The left was basically displaying on that same side. Especially when I started my online journey on platforms such as YouTube and X. Now here I am, 47 years old, and after experiencing what it's like on both sides, I have seen both the good and bad side of both of them. So now when I add my input on a lot of topics, and I come at it from a moderate point of view, I end up pissing off both sides because I'm not 100% agreeing with either. Because it's like this, man. The moment I look at a massive, toxic, and deeply ingrained argument and refuse to show 100% loyalty to either argument, both see me as the enemy, and that's why they label me a fence sitter. If I point out the good side on one, the other side calls me a traitor. But if I point out the bad on that same side calls me a sellout. Why? Like I said, we live in an us versus them society nowadays, where picking a team and repeating a pre-packaged narrative is not only easy, but if you're lucky, you can make bank. Because being the common sense peacemaker in a room filled with blind rage, all that's going to do is turn you into a casualty of war. But hey, I like it that way. Now don't get me wrong though. I'm not afraid to voice my opinion when I strongly believe something needs to be changed for the better. But I also know that one, I'm not always right. Two, I don't have all the right answers. And three, when I'm proven wrong, I can admit that, and I'm willing to see things from the other's perspective if they have a stronger argument. That's my thing. I stand where I can see the entire game for what it truly is. All right, so it's like this, basically. I'm like an umpire. I'm not here to root for the home team or the away team. I'm here to call balls and strikes whenever I see them. I'm not here to be high and mighty. I'm not here to act like a know-it-all. I am here to have a conversation. That's why this series is called Let's Have This Conversation, not Let Me Tell You How It Is. All right, so let me give you an example of what I'm basically talking about. All right, let's take two people from the trans community that are making a huge splash right now. Lily Tino and Blood Fair White. See, in the fight for trans people to be civilly accepted into society, you have two sides. You got those like Lily Tino, whose content thrives on policing public behavior, demanding special treatment, and trying to ruin the lives of anyone that doesn't bend to their worldview. Basically, they go out into society every day and say, kneel before Zod! Because people like Lily Tino aren't just looking for a seat at the table. They want to dictate how everyone at that table thinks, talks, and acts while they're around. Mainly telling them to play along with my fantasy or else. Meanwhile, Blair White approaches the same society. Yet instead of demanding the world to cater to her, she comes at it with a giant dose of personal accountability and a realist attitude. Blair owns the fact that she'll never be a woman, and what she and many others experience is a mental health condition known as gender dysphoria. And unlike Lily Tino, she doesn't try to force society to bow down to the regime, which is why she gets much respect from me, even though the extreme conservatives treat her the same way as they do Lily Tino. That's what I'm bringing to the table in this whole entire thing right there. I see the good side of it. I see the bad side of it. And I'm not afraid to point out either, no matter who it pisses off. So hopefully during this series, we'll be able to talk. Hopefully we'll be able to see things from both perspectives and find a middle ground in this thing that are plaguing and tearing society apart. I look forward to talking to y'all. But until then, it's your boy Pat as always saying, until next time. And that's what this whole entire thing is pretty much about right there. It's just basically, like me want to sit down, have a conversation about, topics that we talk about every day and things like that, where everybody, says or claims they want to talk, but a lot of them don't want to actually, sit there, and have that actual conversation. A lot of them just want to basically do that. They want to talk and have you listen to things like that, and you not. Let's see what I'm looking for. Yeah, they want to talk. Like I said, they want to talk. They want to talk, and they just want to have you listen and not you input your have your input and things like that. And that's not having a conversation right there. That's just basically you sitting right here, like sitting right there. Let me tell you how it is. And that's not how I want to be right there. I don't want to be a person right there basically saying oh, well, let me tell you how it is and things like that. Yeah, I'll give you my opinion. And if you agree with that opinion or you disagree with that opinion, I'd like to hear that. And that's what I'm hoping to build up, on this whole entire thing right here. Oh, excuse me. Damn. What's going on? You're getting stuck in the thing right there. So that was basically like the introduction. That was basically like the introduction video right there. And the next video I had was pretty much where it basically got all started right there. Let me see if I can bring it up real quick. All right, let's bring this back on right here. So then I went to like by episode 2 right here, where I basically talk about the Mordecai situation that happened down not too long ago, and we all know how people feel about Mordecai. Mordecai, whatever the fuck they call it, things like that. But anyway, here's what I had to say right here. And I'll be back and I'll basically explain what I basically meant by the whole entire thing. All right, here we go. All right, what up, y'all? This your boy Pat. And welcome to another episode of Let's Have This Conversation. Today, conversation is going to be about Mordecai, one of the most controversial figures online since Amaranth. Since her breakout on Twitch in 2023 with her topless meta stream to a more recent Dark Souls stream where she streamed gameplay on her feet, people have been calling for Twitch to permaban her for deliberately breaking their terms of service, only for Twitch to, just give her a slap on the wrist. And when seeing results like this happen for almost 3 years now, you think Twitch is playing favorites, right? Well, you'd be half right. But what if I told you Twitch is actually letting Mordecai get away with this for a specific reason? Now, you're probably sitting up there going, how is that, Pat? Well, that's today's conversation. All right, check it. Mordecai isn't just a popular e-thought bringing in revenue for Twitch. She's also their #1 test dummy. How? Well, to truly understand it, we have to go back to the person who started it all, Amaranth. Amaranth popped on the scene back in 2015, where for the next 6 years, she created a massive following and gained tons of money, doing things such as hot tub, kiddie pool streams, and every softcore camp thing you can think imagine. This led to a massive influx of copycat streamers imitating everything she did, trying to either milk on her success or simply trying to take her crown. Next thing you know, Twitch stopped looking like a gaming platform and slowly started looking like a softcore version of OnlyFans. This led to a massive backlash from former gamer channels that were banned for accidental exposure and current channels who couldn't be seen because the algorithm was pushing the e-thoughts more than anything. And when that happened, this started affecting Twitch's advertisers and sponsors, whose ads were running besides things like softcore women's streams, with most of these ads basically being family friendly. So the advertisers then gave Twitch an ultimatum: fix your shit or we won't. But they couldn't just get rid of Amarant like it was nothing, because technically she hadn't broken their terms of service. She just basically flirted with a thin line. So instead, they put restrictions on her to where around 2023, she ended up signing with Kick and barely did any Twitch streams. Though Amaranth was gone, the damage was still done, because she had left behind massive softcore loopholes that copycats were still exploiting, and Twitch needed to fix them, but they didn't know where to start. In comes Mordecai, taking over where Amaranth left off. Mordecai looked at Twitch's current terms of services, saw where the loopholes were, and turned that shit all the way up to 11. During these past 3 years, she's been put in timeout at least 13 times, yet 3 of them have led to Twitch updating their terms of service, and they go as follows. Number 1, the topless meta stream. On December 8, 2023, Mork went viral for appearing nude during a live Twitch stream. Coated in oil and having her camera angled to where only the top of her cleavage on up was visible, Morkpie looked like she was streaming completely naked, to where she would jiggle every time she got a subscription or a donation. But in reality, she was fully dressed and wearing a tube top. Twitch timed her out for 2 days, and this led to Twitch updating their terms of service to explicitly ban creators who implied or suggested pieces or full-on nudity. First loophole, sealed. Number 2, the butt screen meta. In March of 2004, she wore a green screen compatible outfit and projected Fortnite on her ass. This went viral and also inspired many copycats to do the same thing to garner attention. Once again, Morkpie was put in timeout to where Twitch updated their TOS to where it explicitly banned content that focused on intimate body parts such as breast, crotch, and buttocks. Loophole number 2, sealed. So, you think after these major 2 updates, Twitch would have had their T's crossed and their I's dotted, right?
Wrong. Talking about Rick James, man.
Number 3, the Dark Souls meta. In May this year, 2026, Morkpie looked at the floor Twitch had just put a TOS shine on and told them straight up, "You missed the spot. That spot." While Twitch's TOS banned cameras focusing on chests, butts, and crotches, they left out one kinky part: feet. So what did she do? She painted her feet green to act like a screen, where she projected Dark Souls 3 on it. Again, she got timed out after it went viral due to more backlash about her violating the platform terms of service. And like I pointed out earlier, in Morkpie's time on Twitch, she has racked up a total of 13 TOS violations. Yet people still keep asking, why is she allowed on the platform while others who have done less are permabanned? Is it Twitch playing favoritism? Maybe. Is the Twitch CEO a gooner? Maybe. Is it because Morkpie is a golden goose that brings in eyes and money to the platform? Maybe. Or, like I said earlier, Morkpie is their number 1 test dummy. She finds all the cracks and loopholes Amaranth left behind that the copycats use, to which Twitch is trying to seal up now. Every time Morkpie finds a crack, Twitch seals it up, which has led to less and less copycat streamers, hot tub, kiddie pool, topless and green screen metas. These people have either all migrated to places like Kick, which is on the verge of a thought purge itself, or they have fully embraced sex work. But the question is Morkpie doing this intentionally? In my opinion, nah. But Twitch is. Twitch needs Morkpie because her popularity is guaranteed to go viral every time she finds a loophole they need to discover in order to thought-proof the platform. When she finds it, they fix it. So when a copycat even attempts what she did, they're gone. But it's not like she's not getting anything out of it. Because just look, these past few years, like Amaranth, Morgpie has made millions of dollars and gained tons of subscribers to her uncensored accounts. And now she uses that money to invest in things like co-founding her current content protection site called FanLock. So if you've been wondering all this time why Twitch has never permabanned Morgpie, well, now you know. Or at least that's my opinion on it. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Well, hit me up in the comments section or email me your thoughts in the link down in the description below. I look forward to hearing what you're saying. But until then, this your boy Pat saying until next time. Yeah, that was like my first first real video about this whole entire thing right there, because I was one of those type of people right there too when it first started hearing about this whole entire thing, like when it came to like, the whole Twitch thing, deal with Amaranth and Amaranth, Morgpie, the Strawberry Tabbies, the Lenities, the freaking Pokemans, and all these motherfucking Twitch thoughts that they used to plague. They used to plague the hell out of Twitch back in the day, back in the 2015, between 2015 up until right now, and things like that. But I feel like now, especially like when Morgpie basically came in and like somebody messaged me. Like I said, I feel like now with Morgpie coming into the whole entire thing right there. Now, when she first came in and she started doing the stuff like the topless meta stream and the butt streams and all that right there, I was just like everybody else. I'm like, man, Twitch, I'm saying, Twitch should ban this woman. She's permanent, I'm saying she's deliberately like breaking the terms of services and doing all this stuff right here. It's like, why the hell do they just keep giving her slaps on the wrist and all that right there and things like that? Like when she's basically, purposely breaking the terms of services, while there have been many other people who have been permanently banned for doing shit, tiny stuff, man, not even close to that right there, acted on this slip, gone, like a view of something like, something bad word, whatever, gone. But Morgpie is basically like I'm saying, she's done streams basically, like I said, where she's appeared nude, where she, she's basically game, using places like her, her butt, her crotch, her, her breast and things like that. She's had streams where she's had, like guys in gimp suits and all that right there, just like with Amaranth, she's done all this, softcore stuff and things. She's done everything except, except fuck on stream. And every time, it's like they'll do something, they'll time her out, but then they'll eventually bring her back. And this still enrages a lot of people. Call it, you still have a lot of people on, pop up on social media every time she goes viral for something. How come why y'all keep on, giving her slaps on the wrist? How come y'all never, permaban Morgpie? Morgpie needs to be kicked off the platforms and all that right there. And like I said, I used to think that too. I used to think, like I'm saying, man, they probably getting off on this stuff right here. But then to sit back and I have to really, really think, like I'm saying, like there's got to be something more to this right here. It's like, what am I not seeing that, like these motherfuckers are doing anything and all that right there? And I'm like, well, if I was in charge of Twitch and and I had like this huge thought problem and I had this huge like, how the hell would I even stop this from happening and all that right there? First of all, I have to know what the problem basically is, because when you look at the whole entire thing, as I basically started out, this whole entire thing got started with Amaranth. It really got started with Twitch, really. Excuse me right here. It really got all started with Twitch when Amazon bought Twitch, and they want to basically, like I'm saying, go like mainstream with the whole entire thing, because Twitch was just a gaming platform where gamers basically came, and played games and and basically chilled out with the gaming community. But they wanted to be more mainstream and all that stuff right there. So they brought in people like Amaranth to basically bring eyes eyes to the platform and things like that. And Amaranth only knew how to bring those eyes only one way, through sex. You know, she sold sex, and they were okay with it. They were okay with it for quite some time. They were okay with it for like, I want to say like 6 years. It was like, because I want to say it was like around 2021 when the whole entire thing really started becoming a problem right there. Yeah, after 6 years of letting women like Amaranth basically come, like come onto the platform and pretty much treat it like a softcore cam site, because that's exactly what they were doing. Even though I'm saying, even a lot of people, former porn stars who were basically trying to be like gaming channels, were basically coming around saying like, man, these girls ain't doing nothing but softcore camming. They're softcore camming on Twitch to lead these guys to their OnlyFans. And that's pretty much what it was, They come on there, they come on Twitch, they'll do some softcore, yada yada and things like that. And they're like, oh, you want to see more? I'm saying you want to see more explicit stuff like that? Then join my OnlyFans. Yeah, they would promote big time on there. And people would point it out, people would complain about it and things like that, and the stuff would go viral. And it got to the point where the reason why Twitch started doing something, because it got to the point where I mentioned in my video, it got to the point where advertisers stuff were featuring ads were being advertised on these women's live stream. And if you're a family friendly advertisement and things like that, the last thing you want to be is be featured, I'm saying, on a stream where Amaranth is basically licking into one of those ASMR things right there, or doing a kiddie pool stream or and all that right there. And that's what it was. A lot of their advertisement was showing up on these people's channels, and they were getting bad publicity up for it. So that's what they basically were saying, like, yeah, Twitch, fix your shit. That's the reason why Twitch basically had to step in. And they started with, I'm saying, by, once Amaranth gave them the attention that they wanted, they started basically, started reducing her. They started reducing her revenue. Basically, I'm saying she was hardly making money on Twitch. So that's when she went to Kick. And so but like I said, as she went to Kick, she had left so much damage. She had done so much damage and shit right there that they didn't know where to start. Like, how are we going to fix this, man? Now, she's left so many loopholes. She's left so many, tunnels and things like that. And they still had a thought problem, because, even though Amaranth was gone, they still had all these, Twitch thoughts on her selling softcore sex in order to lure these guys to their OnlyFans. And they needed to fix that right there. So they were like, how the hell can we do this? Mordecai came in. She started doing all the stuff right here that caught the attention. And once they saw how it started going viral, like, okay, that's one of the things right there. Okay, let's fix that. So we're gonna time her out. I don't use the word ban, because, like I said, when somebody bans you, that means you're gone. You're gone for life. You can't come back. You can't pass go, collect $200, none of that shit right there. I'm tired of people saying, oh, Mordecai's been banned from Twitch. No, she wasn't. She was put in the corner. She was timed out. Because, hell, when you're banned for something, you can't come back. I'm tired of people watering down the word ban. Yeah, she was timed out. That's all it was. They told her, go sit into the corner until we fix this mess right here. Then you can come back. So while back in the day, I used to think like the same people, like, hell, like, oh, they only doing that right there because, she brings in a lot of revenue. She brings in a lot of, like, eyes to the platform and all that right there. But as time went by, and I'm just like, and I started thinking, and I'm just like, yeah, there's something more to this. I'm just not. I was doing more reacting than I was thinking. That's basically what it was. When you do more reacting than you do thinking, you don't basically see the whole entire picture. Or maybe I'm just basically, giving more kind of benefit of the doubt and stuff like that. That could be one thing, but that's how I basically see with the whole entire situation. I talked about this with people like Gen T and G Dubs on my Your Boy Live channel and things like that, because and that's what I basically figured out, like right at that point. Because, like I said, like, one of the biggest things about me is that now it's like, while you got people out here talking about the current things, like so I'm saying, right then and there, they're striking while the oil, while they're striking while the iron is hot. Excuse me, girl. I'm the type of person who will who will sit back and look at something and analyze things. Now, it probably be the end of the month. It probably be 3 weeks from now before I talk about the situation myself. And by that time, it's old news. Everybody like, man, people have already talked about that stuff 2-3 weeks ago. And Pat, like you late. I'm not late. I'm fully grasping and understanding and analyzing the whole entire thing. So therefore, when I talk about the situation, you're gonna be like, damn, I didn't think about it that way right there. So that's my biggest point right there. While everybody else is trying to be the first to get the clicks, the likes, and the views and things like that. By doing that, they also mess around and they miss important things. Like something I'm going to talk about later on in my next one right here, because that's going to be one of the things we're really gonna. That's really going to put a lot of egg on people's faces right there. That's another thing. I don't want to be the person with egg on his face, just in case something new about that situation basically comes up right there. Because I want to be the person I'm saying, like to give my opinion, but I don't want to be the person, that has to like apologize on down the road and things like that, because, I spoke before we got the full, like the full story. And that's what a lot of people like to do, especially our mainstream media, our sucky ass mainstream media. How many times they just sit out there and they don't put out a motherfucking narrative only to turn around and have to motherfucking many of them don't redact. They just basically sweep it under the rug like nobody's gonna notice, and then they'll try to move on to the next thing right there. But yeah, we notice. But I don't want to be one of those types right there. I don't want to be one of those type of people like, yeah, like last week did such and such about this and that right there. But unfortunately, I didn't wait until like the stuff was actually confirmed, and now I have to apologize for this. I don't want to end up doing that right though, but I may have to. It all depends now, because like I was saying, like we're gonna be. Well, let me finish up with this topic right here. But like I said, that's how I feel like the whole more situation is right there. When I first started out, I thought that she was just one of these, like one of these, Twitch stocks, or one of these, like popular motherfucker that just gets a slap on the wrist simply because she's a golden goose who who just basically brings in money and things like that. And then Twitch is a business, and they are in the process of making money. So I feel like that is part of it right there. But I feel like the majority of it is just basically, the reason why they haven't like banned or got rid of Mordecai and things like that is because she is helping them clean up their platform. Because just sit up here and think, ever since we saw the topless meta, ever since we saw the butt screen meta, ever since we saw the Dark Souls meta and things like that, man, and they have hit her and they have updated their terms of service and things like that. Just look like right now, like when you currently go on Twitch right now, man, do you see any of these thoughts anywhere that we used to see back in the Amaranth days? All those motherfucking females and things like that. You don't see no more hot tub streams. You don't see no more kiddie pool. You don't see no more of them motherfuckers with the kiddie pools and the micro bikinis and the fucking wheels. You know what I'm talking about and all that right there. Everybody was doing the Amaranth shit right there. Even Amaranth isn't doing Amaranth anymore. Not because she got the money and she's basically, like went going off and doing other things and shit like that. It's like you don't even see that shit no more. It's because people like Mordecai, in my opinion, have basically came in and fixed that. Now, did she do it intentionally? No. Mordecai was just basically, doing what she could and stuff like that. But Twitch did it intentionally. Twitch is using her. They're using her popularity and they're using her sexiness to figure out where these loopholes are. So when she intentionally, I'm saying, finds one and things like that, and it makes airwaves, because trust me, man, people won't hesitate to be like, ooh, Mordecai did such and such on this stream right here and things like that. And if it goes off real big, that's when Twitch is like, okay, we got something. We need to seal that right there. So they'll pull in timeout. They'll update their terms of service to exclude all that right there. So anybody else who thinks that they can go do it simply because Mordecai got away with it. And I'm using air quotes. You can't see that shit right there. Yeah, they're instantly gone. So that's been my whole entire situation right there. With the whole Mordecai thing was like, I'm like, at this point, I'm just like, you know what? They're keeping her around because they're trying to fix their platform, and she is helping them out greatly. For everything that she finds, like for every thotty loophole that she finds, they can fix. Well, let me stop babbling about there and let's get on to our final conversation right here that we really like. Yikes, man. Like now I got a lot to say about this situation right here, especially now with what basically is going down. But I'm just gonna basically show the video right there, and you'll see what we're basically talking about right here. Now, let's go. Now, if you watch my recent video, I did like this week. It's basically about the whole Amanda Hendricks situation and the thing in Arby's down here in Broken Bow, Oklahoma. Now, the wild part is, believe it or not, I know this girl. But I'll explain the whole entire thing after the video right here. But anyway, here we go. All right, what it do, y'all? This your boy Pat, and welcome to another episode of Let's Have This Conversation. If you've been online all week, you probably ran across a story about this woman, Amanda Hendricks. Around June 22nd, the story went viral of a woman named Jenica Church who, on March 28, 2026, went to Arby's as they were closing and put in a last-minute food order. Days later, she noticed a flare-up of sores forming around her mouth, to where she went to the hospital to get it checked out. That's when she was told the worst news anyone would want to hear. She had herpes. This frustrated Jenica because she didn't know where she came in contact with the disease. That was until she heard a rumor that this woman, Amanda Hendricks, who was working at Arby's at the time, was going around bragging about how she spit Jenica's food. Now, hearing this, Jenica went to the police to where they did an investigation to where, according to sources, they obtained video footage of Amanda actually committing the act, to where when they interrogated her, she admitted doing it. Amanda has since then been arrested and charged with felony food tampering with the intent to injure. Now, ever since the story hit the internet, it's reignited the argument about last-minute food tampering. While many people argue that restaurants are obligated to serve customers until their actual closing time, others argue that this has made people feel entitled, and therefore disrespectful of a working crew that's basically tired and trying to go home for the night and rest up before doing it all over again. And when you look at it, both sides actually make a point, and they go as follows. The people who argue that you should be served right up until the final seconds are usually viewing the situation from a strict contract agreement. See, in their mind, if the sign says closes at 11 p.m., then those services are available until then. Even if you're showing up at 10:59 p.m., they still expect to be served because they're paying customers. And they're right. While that side sees the argument that way, the other side views it through the lens of basic social awareness and respect for labor. Because in their minds, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should actually do it. Because just think, 30 minutes ago, that restaurant probably shut everything down, cleaned up, and prepped for that morning shift. Now, you done came through the doors at the last minute wanting something, and now they have to go out their way to turn back on the equipment that has already cooled down, re-dirty things that were clean a minute ago, and refix things that they prepped up, depending on like if it's just one of you or if it's a group of you coming in. Also, those employees probably just worked a grueling 8-hour shift or more, and now they have to work overtime because of you. This is when the disgruntled side of an employee starts to come out. So what do I think about the entire thing? Well, in my opinion, it's a lose-lose situation on both sides. For Amanda, she now faces jail time and a lifelong cloud of, oh yeah, You're that woman that spit in that one woman's food and gave her herpes, and this may impact her future employment. And for Jenica, because she so desperately wanted that Arby's food, despite the stigma of last minute ordering, now she has a lifetime of herpes and has to go through life managing how she interacts with friends, family, and co-workers during outbreaks. See, this story is one of the main reasons I rarely eat fast food, let alone go to one when they're about to close. Not only because, in my opinion, it's rude, disrespectful, and half the time, people just flexing what they think is entitled power, but mainly it's because I know people like Amanda Hendricks exist in these environments. And the last thing I want to do is fall victim to that wrath. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know. Hit me up in the comments sections or email me in the description box below. I look forward to hearing your comments. But until then, this is your boy Pat saying, until next time. All right. Now, with that situation right there, like I was saying, now I got a lot to talk about with this whole entire thing right there, because like I mentioned before, this whole entire thing is when it comes to Amanda Hendricks, I know her. I mean, I personally know her. I went to school with her and all that right there, and it's wild to see somebody who you know and things like that, be put in this situation. Not only that, but to go fucking viral. Because, like I said, this whole entire story, man, has blown up globally. I mean, this has been talked about on mainstream media. I'm saying, Fox News, CNN, local news and things like that. Charlemagne on the Breakfast Club, he talked about the whole entire thing. You name it, people have talked about this whole entire thing, man. Everybody know who Jenica Church and Amanda Hendricks are and all that right there. And yeah, a lot of people don't have nice things to say, about Amanda and all that right there. Especially, I'm saying, during the situation. It's like, not the fact that what she did is just the fact that, like I said, basically, like what was. Now, me myself right here and things like that, yeah, I'm not defending Amanda or anything and all that right there. What she did, totally uncalled for, unprofessional, disgusting like a motherfucker and all that right there. And even she fucking knows that right and things. Now, the reason why, even though when I dropped this video right here and all that right there, now, I try to wait on a lot of things, and the reason why I basically kept it to that situation is because I knew this was brand new, this was still breaking and all that right there, and not everybody had the whole entire pieces. So there was always going to be, like I'm saying, that small part of, something may come up and things like that, and then boom, everybody's going to have motherfucking egg on their face. And when it comes to the ending right there, where I'm basically saying when it comes to both of the situation, like with Amanda, basically she's she's going to jail for this whole entire thing, and this is going to impact her future. Because of the whole entire thing, and with Jenica, right there. Now, apparently, there has been brand new. Well, I don't know if it's brand new, but like I said, the plot has basically thickened. Because, like I said, I know these folks right here, and what has basically been, especially been posted on social media, like on Facebook, by some of her friends. Like, for instance, let me see if I can pop this up right here. Now, this is from a an account from a person called Brittany Owens right here, and this basically shows what I have on screen. This is Amanda's. This is Amanda's saying urine test, basically when she was arrested and things like that. They tested her. They said they tested her for for HSV and all that right there, and as you basically see with this whole entire thing, all her tests came back negative. So the person who posted this up right here, if you look at the whole entire thing, where they're basically saying let me make myself clear, seeing how people can't read. This post is in no way trying to defend the spitting in the food. It was disgusting and shouldn't have happened. You know, like I was clearly stating that the herpes crap is a freaking lie, and the disgusting rumors about them can stop and things like that. So what it basically is right here, they're basically trying to use this test to say that like Amanda doesn't have herpes. Now, whether this is true or not, I don't know. But here's I'm saying. But here's the thing though. But I also know right here, like I'm saying, like they're trying to basically use this test right here to say that she ain't got it right there. Yo, blood, what it do, man? But what they fail to realize right here is that this is a urine test. You know what I'm saying? This doesn't prove that Amanda doesn't have herpes. It just proves that it wasn't active when she took this test right here. So what it basically really comes down to is that this I'm saying, even if they tried to include this into the lawsuit or to basically try to defend Amanda, saying, see, she doesn't have herpes because her test came back negative right here. This is urine test. This is what I'm saying. This is they'll rip this apart. Now, if this was her blood test and everything comes back negative, which I've been hearing, like I'm saying, according to sources and things like that, that she is going. I'm saying that she is actually going to get a blood test. Now, when she gets that right there, if she gets that and that comes back negative, then we can talk. Then you can fully say there, like, yeah, she doesn't have herpes. And if that happens right there, then Jenica Church, oh man, her shit goes out the motherfucking window. Her lawsuit goes out the window. Now, I'm saying she'll still have a small case of things like that because Amanda did spit in her food. So you also got to understand that this happened back in March 28th, I think. This happened back in March 28th. Right now, like I said, this is supposed to happen around June 22nd. So yeah, a month, a month has passed since this whole entire thing basically went down right there. And a lot of stuff could have happened during that whole entire time. So what it really basically comes down to, like, if Amanda takes a blood test and that blood test comes back negative like this right here and things like that, it would prove that she doesn't have herpes and that she didn't give Jenica herpes, which would basically throw everything on Jenica. Which it would not only that, it would make her look really bad because you're sitting right here, you're suing you're suing Arby's, for this whole entire thing right there. And if they find out that Amanda doesn't have herpes, they are going to rip this girl apart. Not only are they going to rip Jenica apart and all that right there, but it's also going to open up the question right there. Okay, Jenica, and so if you didn't get herpes from Amanda spit in your food and things like that, where'd you get the herpes? And you also got to point up, if you read the basic story, like I'm saying, Amanda and this girl had beef over a dude back in the day and things like that. So who knows? Who knows what this whole entire thing? Like I said, it's just I'm saying it's getting you're seeing a lot of stuff come out into play and all that right there. And boy, wouldn't it be a motherfucking trip if that actually happened? If Amanda takes this blood test and it turns out she doesn't have herpes, man, a lot of shit will hit the fucking fan. It will hit the fan for Jenica, and it's gonna hit the fan for anybody who's been talking to dog on her doing this whole entire thing before the facts 100% basically came out. Especially Charlemagne bitch ass, because if you watch the Black Breakfast Club and things like that, he is talking the dog on Amanda. And many of these are mainstream things right there. So if it turns out right there, oh yeah, she got defamation lawsuits out the ass. But that's where it basically it basically is right there. Now we don't know 100% sure if she doesn't have herpes, but if it turns out she doesn't, man, boy, a lot of people are gonna have egg on their face. Where and me myself is like, I feel like I don't have egg on my face, but I feel like I could have waited a little bit more. See, because my thing, like I said, that's the reason why I tried to stay with the whole entire video. I tried to basically stay in the happy medium of this whole entire thing right there, especially when you're not 100% sure of everything. Because my whole entire thing with I'm saying with the video was basically like basically explaining like how both sides because one of my biggest things, and I know, like I said, we've gotten into a conversation like this with Rent and Monkey because Rent and Monkey is is on that type right there that basically like well, if a place closes at 11 o'clock and a person shows up at 10:59, then that person is supposed to get served. Monkey actually believes in that last minute, like going in at the last minute thing right there and expecting full-time service. While people like me, I'm just like, man, hell no. Because I know what it's like to work in the food industry and things like that. I never have and I never will do this bullshit because I wouldn't want it to fucking happen to me. I am a firm believer in karma. So I'm just basically like, if a place is closing at 11 o'clock and it's 10:30, I'm not going nowhere near that place because I don't want to be the motherfucker with bullshit in my goddamn food. I will stop at the store and I will get something to take to the house and easily microwave because I know how those people feel because I've been in their shoes. You probably cleaning up, you probably ready to go home and things like that, and all of a sudden somebody brings their motherfucking ass in there at the last goddamn minute and want a full course goddamn meal. Like, bitch, are you serious? So that's why it's hard for me to sympathize for Jenica should this be the case, Now, what Amanda did was wrong. What Amanda did was disgusting. But I understand. I wouldn't do it myself, but I understand her frustration. This is one of the reasons why I don't do that right there. It's one of the reasons why I rarely eat takeout. I rarely eat fast food. But if I am going to eat fast food, I'm definitely not going to go in that bitch before at the last second. I am not that damn hungry. Yeah, I'm not going to show at your place at, like 1 minute before closing being like, hey, can I get a full course meal for me and my family and things like that? These people ready to go the fuck home. Leave them alone. Take your ass to the motherfucking store, buy motherfuckers something that you can goddamn microwave. Or just shit, go to the house and cook. Shit, these people ready to go the fuck home, goddamn it, and here you are wasting their damn time. Because you too damn lazy to cook. Like I said, once again, I'm not defending what Amanda did. I'll never do that right there. But I'm just saying to the people who have that attitude right there of going in at the last minute, bruh. Exactly, blood, man. Shoot. Anytime you're doing stuff like that, man, you are taking a huge risk. And I know there are a lot of people out there with that attitude, like, I wish somebody would do something with my food and things like that. They probably did. They probably did. If you went at the last second and ordered some goddamn food, I wish they would fuck up my goddamn food. They probably did, motherfucker. Like hell, like look at Jenica. Shit. She didn't think they were gonna do some to her stuff and things like that. Now look at you. Should that be the case? Now you got fucking hurt for life. Well, you got oral herpes. But like I basically saw with that whole entire thing, with that whole entire post that she took a urine test, but that really doesn't prove anything right there, and it basically came back negative. But it doesn't mean that she doesn't have herpes. It just means that it wasn't active at the time because it was a urine test. But if she takes a blood test and they don't find like the herpes antibodies in her system and things like that, then yeah, that's when the whole entire thing is going to blow up. And if that happens right there, oh man, like I said, once again, so many people are going to have egg on their fucking face. And this is one of the reasons why when I see situations like this, I sit back. I ain't trying to be the first motherfucker to talk about stuff, Maybe it was like that, I'm saying, like a few years back then, but now I'm at the point right now where I'm like, Pat, sit back. Because every time you think you know something, something pops up right there. And now you're listening to all these people trying to be the first one to talk about this, to talk about that, only to have to delete posts or have to delete videos or have to retract retract whatever they said and things like that because they were trying to be the first to go viral and get it up out there, only to, like I said, egg on the face. And I ain't trying to be that person right there. So I'm basically gonna be sitting back. I'm gonna be watching the situation because, like I said, I know Amanda personally, and I know the whole entire thing right there. So I'm gonna be sitting back and seeing what's gonna happen with this right here. So if she ends up doing the blood test and then ends up popping up and things like that, like, hey, guess what? Amanda don't have herpes, so she didn't give it to Jenica. Boy, is that gonna be a motherfucker? Is that gonna be a motherfucking story right there? Because it'll really be fucked up on Jenica's part because not only will she look like a damn fool because they have basically blown her up, man. They have put so much support behind her. Oh, you poor thing, do this and that and all that right there. And it's gonna make her look like, another one of those fake ass females, like bitch, you lied for attention. You knew your motherfucking ass had herpes, and you knew you got it from some reason. Now you done drug this woman's name through the mud and all that stuff right there because you didn't want to admit, you didn't want to admit to the world, and you didn't want to admit to your husband that, hell shit, you got herpes from whatever situation and all that right there. Because if that's the goddamn case, God, that's gonna be so fucked up, man. Because they're gonna be like, see, this is the reason why you can't trust nobody's motherfucking word and things like that. That's why you always have to be skeptical. And that's what I've learned to be over the years, because it's like, it is hard to take a lot of people's word nowadays because so many people have been caught lying. So there's always a case of when something like this, even though you want to feel sorry for them, you always got to sit up there and you got, I wonder. Like, don't you read me? Don't you take my word for it and things like that? No, because we don't see too many people do the exact same thing like you. They look innocent, they sound innocent and things like that, and they be flat out lying. We don't see too many cases like that. Trust me, man. I've been on here since 2016. I done seen too many goddamn cases. Look at that mattress girl, bitch. Lied her motherfucking ass off, man. Shit. Drug that boy through the motherfucking goddamn. Drug that motherfucker through drug his name through the motherfucking the coals, the acid, the glass, you name it, man. Only to turn out, hell shit, she was lying. So yeah, you really have to be careful. And you really have to, you really have to take everything with a grain of salt. But yeah, those I'm saying, that's what I mainly want to do with this whole entire series right here. Because I'm basically like trying to give like a video every week, basically talking about random topics, whether they're political, whether they're social, whether they're about movies and things like that. Because I got a whole lot of stuff, man. I got a whole lot of stuff like I talk about. Some topics will be serious, some topics will be not so serious and all that right there. Because like I said, I got a whole lot of movie things that a lot of people basically debate on, man. And I'm just like, yeah, I would really love to get into a lot of these conversations right there, man. And yeah, and it gives me a chance to get back on to like the Yo Boy Pat channel right there, because it's hard to live stream nowadays and stuff like that, especially like on my other channel, because like I said, after the Charlie Kirk thing basically went down, man, I really got burnt out politically with the whole entire thing right there. And now I'm at the point where I just want to, I want to talk about situations, but I want to also game. I also want to have fun and things like that, because we've gotten too much into this society. Yeah, thank blood. Like I said, it is good to be back, man. Shoot. And it's good to basically, go on others, other people's streams and see them like having fun and things like that, like seeing Satu Gaming, and then going on Twitch and seeing like Blood and Spiracy, talk about their things and stuff like that. But I can catch y'all because hell, besides making the situation that I'm doing right now, shit, I have to work, shit. I have a regular 9 to 5. This is like one of the reasons why it's really been hard to stream, because my 9 to 5 has been so damn busy with me as of lately that when I get to the house, I'm so fucking tired. I want it's like I'll have the will, but then I'm just like I'm so fucking fatigued, man. I really don't feel like talking about this shit now. But I'm trying to get back into this whole entire swing of it, and I'm just starting out with videos right now. And like I said, I'm getting back into gaming a whole lot, especially like with my simulation games. I want to start get back into twitching. But every time I try to get on Twitch, man, people who I know they be streaming, and I end up watching their shit. So besides that, doing fanfics and all that right there, man. But I say, like I said, it's time to start. It's time to start having fun. It's time to start showing that side of the internet that isn't serious all the fucking time, because it's not always us versus them mentality. It's not always left versus right, you versus me, up versus down, and all that shit right there, man. A lot of times we can get together and we can talk, we can have a conversation and things about that, and be like, you know what? I can see that. I see that from your point of view right there, man. I'm learning that more right there. Because have found so many people, man. I'm saying I done found so many liberals, I done found so many conservatives, I found so many Christians, atheists, LGBT, and heterosexual people nowadays, and things like that, man. I'm just like, you know what? I'm saying, when we sit here and we really talk about it and things like that, I understand that perspective. And then when they hear what I'm talking about, it's like, even if we disagree, it's like, I understand from your perspective right there. That's where we need to get back right there. And I feel like the only way we can get there is by sitting down and actually having a conversation. And that's what I want to do right there. Like when I have my videos, jump in the comment section, or basically, like I said, hit me up in the Discord with like, I like what you had to say right there, but here's where I disagreed, or here where and just give me that right there, and we can talk about it in a future live stream and all that right there. That's what I want to do. I want to basically, I want to be basically be what Charlie Kirk was doing. Like I said, agree or disagree with him, Charlie Kirk was actually having a conversation. He was having a conversation with people who, I'm saying, even if you disagree with him and things like that. That's where we need to basically get back there. But I'm finna go end it right there. This is gonna be like a small stream, man. So I'm gonna get in here. I'm finna basically watch some streams. I'm finna do some gaming myself. Like lately, I've been getting into like Octopath Traveler. I started playing that right there, man. That shit is so goddamn fun, man. I like how they got the whole graphic bit on it right there. And dang, man, I also found I also got in the front missions. I got back into that right there. I found that shit on Steam. I was like, oh hell yeah, goddamn, I am fit to have some fun with that goddamn shit. I loved it when it came back out on PlayStation back in the day and all that right there. So goddamn, that shit was fun. I wish they'd remake Front Missions 3. If they remade Front Missions 3 and put that shit on Steam or put that on Xbox and stuff like that, that was my favorite motherfucking Front Missions. Like shit. If they bring that shit back, man, that's what I'm talking about, man. Shoot. I used to love that shit when it came out on PlayStation, man. But hell, they did? Where? Like I said, hell, what they remake it at? Because I need to find that shit. Because that was my favorite motherfucking Front Mission right there, man. I didn't see it. I saw Front Missions 1 and 2, and I got both of those that I need to play, but I ain't seen Front Missions 3. Or unless I'm missing it or something. Like shit. If they got it, I'm definitely finna get that motherfucker right there. Oh god damn. They do got this bitch. They must have just put this motherfucker up on there, man. You know what? As soon as I get up off of her, it's getting got. Shit, that's my shit. That's my shit. God damn it, right there, boy. That is my shit. So I already know what I'm finna. I already know what I'm finna be doing right there, man. Shoot. I'm finna jump on Steam and I'm finna get that motherfucker right now, goddamn it. That is the best motherfucking front missions they have goddamn made right there. So shit, you already know I'm finna get that right there. I'll probably stream it my damn self, man. Shoot. But yeah, anyway, I'm gonna get up out of here. I'm gonna have some fun. I'm gonna until I see y'all next time, man. You already know, like I said, once again, it's good being back on here. It's good, like I'm saying, going back to make videos and doing everything I can, to kind of mellow out the mind and just to chill out on all the stuff. And when I do stuff like this in the future, man, like I said, like don't hesitate, if we're talking about a topic right there and you feel like it's something you can sink your teeth into, feel free to always jump in and things like that. I always put down, I'm saying, the link and the link in the chat and all that right there. Just click onto it, jump in, and I love to hear all y'all conversations in the future and things like that. And hopefully we can build up something, just like I'm saying how I did with my Your Boy Live and all that right there. We can build up something. We can talk about these situations and things like that, because like I said, the topics are basically going to vary. And be looking out for my videos, because I'm gonna be dropping down one like every week. And so at the end of the month or the beginning of the next month, I'll have a live stream like this where I'm basically recapping everything that I'm basically talking about, and hopefully can sit down and talk with talk with a lot of people about the whole entire thing. But until then, I'm gonna get up out of here saying this your boy Pat, as always, saying peace, love, everything in this right there. And whatever you do in life, man, always do it with no regrets, man. Until next time, man. And also have a great 4th of July, man. It's gonna be a 4th of July weekend that's coming up, man. It's America 250 years of American independence. Get out there this weekend, have fun with each other, have fun with your friends, family, whoever you love, and things like that, man. Whatever you do, have fun, be stress-free, be careful, be responsible, but get out there, man, and celebrate America. I know I am, man, because ain't nobody gonna be able to see me online anywhere on Saturday. I'm gonna be too busy having fun that day. Hopefully it won't be that damn hot, because right now here, shit, down here, man, it's like all together, it feels like 100 and it's 110 right there, and that's the humidity, man. It's hot. But let me shut up and get up out of here. Until next time, y'all. Peace.